growth is all about. This is what growth is all about. This is what it's all about. You're going from one stage to another stage. But just we have to be mindful that when you get to that other stage, it might be it's other individuals that's already there. You know what I mean? So when you get there, you might just like going in a school, in a college. You start out as a freshman. You know what I mean? You start out as a freshman, and you go to a sophomore. From a sophomore, you go to a junior. From a junior to a senior, then you graduate. Well, that's the same way it is with just levels of living, you know. And when we start to understand that, we'll begin to grow. And I will be the first to say, man, again, that when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, anything outside of that it's not going to be relevant to you. It's not like you're not going to even pay it no mind because it has nothing to do with what you got going on. You know, you see that in relationships to where, you know, a man might be the one that's more mature, or the female might be the one that's more mature. But yet, you know, they go through 2 or 3 years of just bumping heads because one of them is immature, right? So what happens? 2 or 3 years later, right, the one that's been immature, they finally grow up and realize, oh, I know I've been acting immature, but look what you just did to the one that was mature. Like, you basically stayed around just to beat them all the way down and bring them back to your level. Now that you don't risen above that level, they have the tendency to look down at the one that they just created. You know what I mean? So it's so many different dynamics when it comes to that, man. And that's why I always just say being upright is the best solution for all of it, man, and being pious, God. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to determine. That's going to be the determining factor in everything. It's how each individual conduct themselves. Because we're going to hear things that's going to grieve us. We're going to see things that's going to grieve us. But the way we conduct ourselves in those situations is the bottom line. How you respond to those situations.
Period.
Yes,
Period.
sir.
And when you understand that, when you know that, everything else works itself out. It becomes easy. Life becomes easy once you figure it out. Once you just figure it out. I did a show last night about that, man, about words, you know, how you say, how you speak it, you know, you manifest. What you think about the show, man? Did you like it?
Man, I didn't get a show. I was intending to tell you, I didn't get a chance to do it, man, because I had to back up a lot of those trailers. And I didn't even supposed to have to go in, so
when
it kind of caught me off guard.
When you do check it out, man, let me know what you think about it, man. But I was just saying about the words and things that you say, how you manifest your reality by just what you say out loud, and then using those power words instead of using those defeating words. You know, sometimes, you know, but instead of throwing I can't, you know, I have, I am, I can, I choose, right? Because when you say I choose, you got to make a choice. You got to make a move, and right then you can't play with it. When you say I choose to do something, you rather than say if you say I might, then guess what? You might not. Right? But if you say you choose, then guess what? That comes with action. So we got to worry about the kind of language that we use, and that's going to help propel us to be great every single day. Because if not, then what are we doing with our day? What are you doing with another day? If you don't want it, then give it to me. I use it. Because to me, it ain't enough hours in a day. I'll take some of yours. Give me some. Right.
And you know, for real, bro. And that's right there, man. That's powerful because a lot of us don't really understand how powerful language is. Like language, the writings was everything. I mean, that's the essence of everything, man. The writing. This is how we are able to communicate. And the reason it's awesome is because what we have is you have languages that to where in English, the English language is a mixture of different languages, of two different languages. So some of the words can mean this and some of the words can mean that. And we don't realize that this shapes our mentality. This shapes the way how we deal with situations, how we think about situations when we need to go to the original forms of those words, and you'll find them in their purest form, because in certain languages, there's no such thing as maybe. You know, so look what that does to the human psyche. Like if you could take maybe about the human psyche, what would you have? You either gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You'll kill the suspense. So when you take these languages, man, and you go to comparing them, you will see a lot of it has been filtered and watered down, and this leads to what? A lot of dysfunctionality. Everybody's dysfunction. Why? Because they're not living in those purest forms. If these words that's been translated is not in their purest form, how do you think the people that's using them, how they going to be? They're going to be dysfunctional. You know what I mean? So we have to really, exactly. ill-informed, ill-informed.
Ill-informed, yeah. If they're
Most
not
definitely.
formed, they're ill-informed. So it's just like
Yes,
it's
sir.
not going to work right, and it's not going to say right, and therefore you don't have the right action because you're using the wrong words. You know, fear is a powerful thing. Fear is a powerful
sir.
thing, and so we got to be able to not operate in fear because we made by grace. You know, God said He made us a masterpiece. What are you tripping for? What are you tripping
Right.
for? What are you tripping for, man? You made by greatness out here in this world, so go forth and be great. And if you're not going forth out here being great, then what are you doing? And then why are you not doing it? You know, because you have the opportunity to do it. And go forth and do it, man. The mind is something powerful, man. It really is. And
It's
I
very
think that's
powerful, bro.
it's something that we really have to guard and really choose what we place into it. And as I've heard before, guard the weeds in the garden of your mind. You know, you got to tend to them because you don't let it grow, because if it's good soil, anything will grow in that soil. Weeds and everything, grass and everything, even poison if it's planted in that good soil. So it's going to give what it's supposed to give. The earth is going to yield it. So we have to be able to, I think just have that constant mindset that excellence is expected of ourselves, not what anyone else expects of us, what we expect of ourselves. You know, excellence is expected. And then, so we going back to talking about the circle, right? You definitely want to have a group of people that thinks like that to a degree and can feed on that, because you want to be able to feed off of that with other people that fits that mold, because everybody doesn't fit that mold. And that's okay. Because everybody's their own individual, and that's okay. So you go be with your circle, then you go be with your circle, and then you go be, and everybody just do their own thing their own way. It's okay. We look at other races that do it all the time, right? And so we talk about how we need to get to that particular point, whatever. Okay, inspired by Wakanda and Black Panther. Okay, cool. And can we do this for real? Can we do this for real? Can we do this for real? Okay, let's go. Let's go get it. And so that has to be the understanding. I had a conversation with a loan officer, man, about that earlier. We was talking about those kind of things about networking and putting things together. So there's a lot of great ideas coming. There's a lot of great things coming down the pipeline. So my circle is growing, you know, but I'm putting strategic partners in my circle that truly care about people that just happen to be in this particular profession. You understand what I'm saying?
Right on.
You know, so that's the key, man, with it. And so the same thing about your circle. Look what your circle has done. Look what your sister's circle has done. Right? It's expanded because you met people, you got with people, and now look what you got. Opportunity.
Yeah. I would say too, like when you say, like when you getting squirrels out of your circle, right? When we say that, it's basically you're trying to show a structure and how everything is, right? Mm-hmm. Like when you look at the Italian mafia, right? In perception, people would say they succeeded, and why? Because they understood that they kept it amongst themselves. They never let any outsiders into what they had going on, right? Everything they did it amongst each other, right? So that's basically like you're adopting your own way, your own lifestyle. And this is how it is, like what we're talking about. You're getting squirrels out your circle. This is how you're able to succeed. When you look at the countries or the constitution, governments, this is how they are formed. They're in a structure. And anytime you are outside their structure, you're not going to receive the benefits from it, man. You're going to get the crumbs up off the plate, basically, is what we're talking about. And it goes back to language. When you go into hospitals speak a whole other language. When you go into a lawyer office, when they litigating trials or whatnot, they speaking in a whole other language. You know what I mean? And those people only identify pretty much with themselves. They hang out with each other. They go to
they speak a whole nother way.
Exactly. They got a whole different way, even with police officers. Like, we're civilians to them, you know, because they hang around people that think and train just like them every day. This is what they do. This is how it works. And so in order for us to get out this situation or these conditions, we got to operate as a unit, just like with Ebonics. To me, Ebonics wasn't a bad thing. I think what happened was with black people, we always let people define what we doing, and we stopped using it. But Ebonics is something we created. That was ours. That was our language. If we was able to communicate with each other, who cares about what somebody else thinks? You know what I mean? And when you look at the Hispanics today, right? They keep Spanish going. They are learning English, but they're going to speak Spanish. And you see what's going on with them. They're increasing with wealth and everything else because they understand that now we gotta keep our communication because some things are just for you, you know, and we have to be mindful of that, man. And I think the more mindful we are, the way we'll start looking at it for what it is, and we'll start building in our own community or whatnot.
Because you appreciate the value in it. You see the value in it. You see the end game before the end game. That's where faith comes into play. That's where faith and understanding and belief comes into play in your mind. See, everything that you see right now was all in somebody's mind at one point in time. All these buildings, all these structures. It was in somebody's mind. It started in your mind. So you're going to have great defeat or you're going to have a great destiny. What are you going to put in your mind? What are you going to put in your head? What are you going to put in your heart? Because what you're putting in there, that's going to show. That's going to show out here in the mix. That's going to show in the atmosphere what you're putting out there, what you're putting around. And make sure, again, that you got people that's around you that's keep influencing you and pushing you positive to keep moving forward and not keeping the same level that you are right now. If you're in a low level, if you're flying low and don't want to stay low, make sure you go fly with some people that's flying high, and y'all continue to fly high together.
Right.
You know,
right.
Can you dig it?
But yeah, man, it's an interesting conversation piece, man, because it covers so much ground. You know what I'm saying? It covers a lot of ground, and you know, just like I said, when we're going on the jobs, right? You new to the company, you new to the environment, so you start out on what? On the entry level, right? They got to familiarize you with everything, and then you can work your way up. You know what I mean? You have to speak their lingo. You have to speak their language. You have to walk their walk and talk their talk. And this is what progress is. And this is how you move. This is how you move forward. This is how you move forward. You got to be a part of it in order to move that needle.
And say it all the time, man. Even baby steps count, man. Be a part of it because now you networking, man. You putting yourself around those people. Anyone out here that's in any kind of business, any kind of venture, any kind of thing that you're doing out here on a positive level. With me personally as a loan officer, anywhere in Texas doing home loans, any realtor, any builder. I hear something, man. Any kind of builders, anything like that. If you're networking with the right kind of people, make sure that you have the people that would be great people. They just happen to be realtors. They just happen to be loan officers. They just happen to be this. They just happen to be that. Make sure you're networking with those kind of people that are putting you in those kind of situations where now when you get a buyer, when you get a customer, when you get a client, you're able to put them with all those kind of people that truly care about them as an individual and going to make sure that they give them the best rate of service because there's nothing worse than giving a referral to somebody and they don't take care of them. They don't do what they're supposed to do with that referral. There's nothing worse than that. So you want to make sure that whenever you send your referral off of someone that comes to you for answers and come to you because they value your opinion, you want to make sure that you put them in the hands of somebody that's going to take care of them just like if you would do it yourself. Right. That's true, man. That's true. That's the biggest thing. And we have to be mindful of that. We have to be mindful of that. You know what I mean? And that's what the observation. And like I say, like when you're dealing with jobs, that's what that 90-day probation is all about. Why? Because they're trying to see and monitor how you're going to act and how you're going to behave. You know what I mean? Because they understand that if you come into the workplace and you're not prepared to do your job, you threaten everybody. Everybody's a risk because of that one individual. So, I mean, these are just little examples that I'm using to show basically what the topic is about, of eliminating the square. The square can mean anything, like you said, like we said, the bad apple or whatnot. So I think as long as we're mindful of that, this is when progress can start to take place in our lives. Exactly, man, because it helps you, man. You want to grow. You want to move forward every single day. You want to grow and you want to move forward, man, and say it. You know, I know you say you've been working and grinding all day, man, back and forth, whatever. And I said we're going to give them about a half hour of power. So we got a couple of minutes left in the game, man. But what I want to do, though, brother, I want to, as we always do, man, come with some solutions to the squares, eliminating, I guess, the squares out of your circle. And if you the square, then how do you eliminate yourself? I don't know. I'm just saying we want to get some, we want to get you, let's have a couple of solutions when it comes to that, though, man, because we always want to leave the audience with something to really to marinate on, man, and to take it to the next day with them and help further themselves in life. Right. I would say be that good gardener, man, and that gardener is like, you know, in theology when we go to dealing with religion, you know, Adam and Eve were placed in the garden, and what do in the garden? You grow things, right? You have to grow things, and in order to grow it. And for it to reach its complete harvest, you got to give it the right
water it needs. You got to give it the right sunlight it needs. And if you do all those things, that seed